Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host, Billy Bliggs, joined as always by my co-host, Brian.
Go ahead, buddy.
Brett,
What's up?
friend of the show, host of the Strat Chat Pod and the Kyle Petty Show. Kyle Petty.
Hello. Thank you for having me back. Lots to
Fancy.
say on this. Lots to say.
I have been pushing everybody. I've been pushing Kyle for a long time to be a Love is Blind guy. And finally, it only took till episode 4 of season 6, but we got him. We got him, people. Look, right off the bat, everybody, we are doing full episode 7, 8, and 9. Full spoilers, obviously. Thank you for all your comments last week. Want to see it happen again. We may do a video this week during the weekend about the comments, stuff that you guys put, and we'll kind of react to some of that. So comment below on your thoughts. Week 2, guys, season 6. We had love is failing a lot of people. Love is lying to a lot of people. And may have had the most healthy breakup I've ever seen in my entire life happen on a television show. So a lot to react to here. I'm sorry, but I am going to. I got to start with where we ended. It wasn't what I thought was going to be the number one topic on the board. I thought that was going to go to Miss Chelsea, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about Miss Chelsea. But I got to talk about Jeramey, man. You got to talk about Jeramey and this Laura situation, hanging out with Sarah and until 5 a.m. And guess what? He tried to be glib and was like, I shared my location. I got nothing to hide, except for the fact that she actually did check your location, and you were not where you were supposed to be. They're done. They're DED, dead. First, like second. I can't believe that wasn't even the first DED dead.
DED.
Brian, get us started, and then guys go around the horn. Your reaction to this whole Jeramey situation.
Yeah, when she was like, I did check the location, or he's like, I shared the location. She's like, bet, I checked it. Like, like I'm glad that I like the build up that she did too. Like she knew the answer, but she kept like asking the questions. Like obviously, I hate that when my wife does that to me, but like I like
she laid the trap.
Yeah, the trap was
the way to do it because it doesn't have to be a trap if you're just honest.
Yeah, right. Like
right.
Yeah, exactly.
You chose your own path.
So he went out with the Pod Boys, and I guess
single guys.
They definitely did it on purpose. But I was expecting this conversation to happen after the cabin, so I was very shocked that this happened just on a Friday.
Why did he share his location if he was then going to lie about it? Is that a thing where it says you're sharing a location and they can just check, oh, I trust you, but instead of actually looking at it, because who wouldn't look at it?
I think he thought she was sleeping.
Yeah, I think he did. He probably did temporary share location, thought she was asleep, and that's when she was like, bet. And then
okay, so she couldn't, if she saw it in the morning, she couldn't like go back and see a history.
No,
probably not. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense then. But hey, maybe he was out instead of with Sarah Beth or whatever. She was being his secret life of a serial killer, since she was calling him that since his apartment is immaculate.
Very possible.
Oh, you were just cheating on me? Oh, thank God. Kyle, what do you think of Jeramey, Laura, and also Sarah Ann sliding into those DMs?
Well, there's a lot of questions there. First of all, her sliding into DMs, I have mixed feelings on, even just on that. Like it definitely did start off nice. I could see why Laura would think that it ended in a disrespectful way. But again, coming from a polyamorous background, it's like I did have a connection with you. You and I had a relationship. This is not something I said publicly. This is something I said to you. And it's like it's really only for the three of them to now decide whether or not she's crossed the line here. And Laura did feel like a line was crossed, so like we kind of have to like kind of go with that. But I could understand maybe the motivation behind that. But like, listen, I did have feelings for you. I do care if you're happy. So I'm going to also toss out there, if you're doubting it, then like, I want you to know the door is still open with me to explore. So I don't necessarily think it was not well-intentioned. We have to see more from Sarah before we can really make that determination. But I want to at least leave the door open that maybe Sarah did not mean to be rude. Even though that's how Laura took it. And we respect that because all feelings are valid, right, in this house. But as far as the discourse between whether or not he should have thumbs up it or like double tapped it, like, get out of here with that. Like at the end of the day, he's still a guy. He just wanted to acknowledge it. I don't think he gave that much thought into it. Like let's just be honest. Let's keep it real here. So like leave him alone on that front. So like we're gonna toss that one out. But as far as the location sharing and everything like that, like I actually was on Jeremy's side up until we realized that, like, he wasn't where he was supposed to be. Like,
He's fucking lying.
Yeah, how dare you use that as a point to make your case when it's exactly now the hole you fell in. Like, I was definitely doing like the MJ back away to the door, like remember Traders, like when she's like, I gotta get out of here. I'm not
Homer Simpson in the bush.
Yes, exactly. That's how I felt in this moment. I was like, "Ooh, Jeramey, ooh."
I could see Kyle with his notebook being like, "Gotta cross that point out. That one is not accurate anymore." Also, Jeramey just stinks because if we were to go off of the stuff from last week and the bean dipping and stuff, you don't tell people that your wife said that, your fiance said that to you. It's like if your girlfriend's crap talking someone, you don't tell them, or you're like, it's like, and then he slept on the couch and gaslit her that whole night too. Apparently, it's like, bro.
Yeah, that whole thing is tricky because if he truly didn't know what this bean dip thing was, which honestly was also new to me. I don't know if that means I'm aging myself or like whatever. I don't know what bean dip is. So like, if he truly didn't know and he brought it up, then maybe you just kind of you fell into a hole and like you didn't already know was dug.
I think it's possible he might be on the spectrum, actually. After just thinking about all his behaviors, there does seem to be like a slight disconnect in some of the things he does, I guess.
Like being super tidy and the thing. I kind of just think he's just a kind of a dick. Like, I don't know. Like, I think he, I do. I really do. I think he there is something you said about like having to have everything so perfect, and like this dude, like where do you get off, man? Just like, where do you get off?
So how can he claim he's so tidy, but he's gonna wear shoes on his bed? That's what I was like. That was a red flag.
He wore shoes on his bed, and he also, as he laid on the bed, he also had a hole in his shorts. I wouldn't expect any of you to notice that. I was the only one looking at the crotch, and I did see a hole. It seems to me like if you knew you were going to be on TV, you would not be wearing a piece of clothing that had a hole in it. So like,
I didn't notice that, but the shoes thing definitely, like, I was like,
you can't tell me that you're a clean freak and you're gonna wear your shoes on your bed. Like,
yeah, it skeeved me.
Yeah,
it bothered me when he just walked on his carpet with the shoes. I was like, that's not aligning with your OCD thing.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
Yeah, no, I'm glad somebody else noticed it. I saw it. I just noted it. I wrote it down in my book, and
that's super fair.
Just glad someone else
noticed. I don't wear
shoes. Very important.
In my house. I step up to the front door. I actually step out of my Seekers before I even step on my welcome mat in the house. And then I pull the shoes in afterwards, and I put slippers on right away. So like seeing the shoes on the bed, totally not in line with what I would expect.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't
no,
make sense.
No. So maybe he is just a dick.
So guys, we are now at the portion of our podcast where things are going to get real needy. Things are going to get real needy real fast, everybody. So get tied up and ready for this. We're talking about Chelsea. Hi, Chelsea. Look, man, this was tough. If you watched any of like my TikToks all last week, I was like shitting on Jimmy. I shit all over Jimmy, and I was like, Jimmy's the worst, and Jimmy's rude, and what an asshole, and he's this and that. Then I rewatched last week again with my wife. And man, you start to pick up on Chelsea things if you already know what's happening, you can kind of just relax a little bit. And man, the neediness that comes out. And look, I know you don't. That just doesn't happen naturally, right? She was married before. She seems like she's had not a great time with relationships, but it's just like screaming. This isn't a you problem. Every time she says something, I don't like how you say I love you. You didn't kiss me enough times today. I know you're saying you love me, but I don't feel like you love me. And listen, I've been in relationships like that, and like there is no changing that. Like you're never going to convince that person that that you're good and that you're not upset. And we're going to talk about another relationship after this one where similar conversations are had, and they dealt with it very healthily. This dude, Jimmy, guess what? He did think wanted to know you look like Megan Fox. That ain't why he's mad. He's mad because you are annoying. That's all I got to say.
I agree.
She tried. Well, like, I mean, we talked about this last week too, that she's very insecure, and obviously she needs that. She needs somebody
He
to
needs
shower
reassurance.
her in compliments of like, "Oh, you're beautiful, I love you," and then show her through kisses and all that crap. Because she brings up the fact that, oh, you got your phone back, and then you saw what Jessica looks like, and then the switch flips. So like, she already had that in her head that like that we knew that was going to be an issue, and then now she as an excuse.
It's like always their excuse. I feel like everything comes back to like, well, you saw a picture of Jess, and it's like, well, you're just kind of annoying.
Right. Like there's a difference between needing to be reassured and then also counting the amount of kisses. Like
Yeah.
that's really, really ridiculous. Like I definitely do like to hear from my partners that like you love me. I like to hear that. Let's start the day that way. Have a nice day. I love you, and like leave it at that. But that can also be done via text. Like we don't have to do all of this.
Yeah.
But you're counting kisses, and then even when you did so, you miscounted. He was like, "Oh, but I kissed you at this time." And then I kissed you again. And she goes, "Oh, you did?" And it's like, so who should be more offended? Him? Well, you for feeling like you have not been kissed, or or him who has given you these kisses that you're allegedly counting, and then like they obviously meant so little to you that you didn't even remember they happened. But when I brought them to you, you remembered it. You didn't argue it then. You were just like, "Oh, well, oh yeah, oh, I guess I don't remember." And it's like, so what's really your problem then, Chelsea? Like, what's happening? Like, it's just so hard to rally behind.
It's Jess. That's the problem.
Jess
Right.
is listen, and that's
Jess
what's funny
is the
about
real
this show
problem.
is she knows that she like basically got away with murder. Like she feels like she's like, I really probably shouldn't have won this competition. And that's a big reason why she said yes. She wanted to win. I feel like she wanted to win. And when she was like, shit, this guy was gonna break up with me. It is what it is. I was gonna end up with Trevor and I would be happy and whatever.
Right.
And then she's like, wait, someone wants me over her. Now, obviously, he has no idea what she looks like, but like you can't remove yourself from like normal society thinking, right? And so it's like,
Sure.
I would never beat somebody for this girl and like for this guy. And like, so I'm going to do it.
And that's a shame because she definitely did have a closer connection with Trevor, in my opinion.
I hope they rekindle it next week. I don't wish her ill or anything. I want them to be happy.
I think she could be. I think for the right person, she'd be wonderful for. She does seem very loving and like very supportive. Like I'm not totally knocking her, like, but this is not working. Like this kiss counting is like a major turn off to me. Like,
yeah, and she's like working too. She's like, well, you're not kissing me.
Right.
Like, well, I have a job.
Right. I'm at work. Like if I was actually in the office, you couldn't count my kisses then.
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
So like you need to treat when I'm up here and I'm doing this, you need to treat that as if I'm not in the house. I'm not in the same building. Like I'm in the office and I'm working and that's it.
It feels like all the women, or at least most of them, don't have jobs. And then they're complaining about the guy being on his phone working. And it's
or like maybe not back to work yet or something, right? Like that is really interesting.
Yeah, that is true because
that's interesting.
It's going to come up with AD when we get to AD, obviously.
Ken hit that phone hard
with the Ken and Brittany.
Yeah, well, that's our next one. The last thing I
phone hard too, but like
the last thing I wanted to say about Chelsea is just like you said. I think probably even her going back and watching this, and I've seen her on TikTok. She's like she's kind of acknowledging a lot of it. She's having fun with it, I think, knowing that like, oh my God, how I'm going to come off is going to be pretty bad. And she's having some fun with it. But I do think it's like, you have to realize like, she's the same person that when she was getting mad at Jimmy last week, she was saying like, well, you were spinning her and stuff. It's like, I never did that. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's like taking a kernel of something and just letting it turn into this like wildfire in her head. Like, and
yeah, and I think it's also important to note, like, I didn't watch any of her videos on the Talk Tick. I'm too old for that. But like, she definitely every time they have one of these fights, she's drunk.
Yeah, well, welcome to a Netflix show.
Well, no, right, but I think that's important to note also when you talk about like the merits between like of Chelsea's arguments. It's like, well, there's a lot of fights I know I've had when I was young. Like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I was way off.
Yeah, she picked a fight after sex. She picked a fight after having sex, which I thought was also
interesting.
Oh, this is not a coverall that saves every argument. I'm just,
Yeah, I know, but I mean,
thought it should be thrown out there in the issue of fair.
How about well, that's like my wife said that when we were watching too. It was interesting because it's like she's telling you all these reasons why she's disappointed in you and what you're not doing to make me feel loved, and then she responds in it by also being like, but I'm gonna have sex with you and stuff too. I'm not hard. It's like you're trying to kind of tell somebody you expect certain things, and then you're also still trying to like keep them in by showing them like physical effect, and it's like, sure, Jimmy will come and give you normal affection. He seems like a normal dude. And Kyle, you can tell me, would you consider Jimmy like an attractive man? I don't get it.
It looks like a toe.
It's like Bobby Hill when he grows up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bobby Hill. I wouldn't go that far. But like, is he attractive? I mean, like, no, like that's not really necessarily somebody that I would like look at twice if I was at a bar. But I will say his personality and the way that he like listens to her, like when she's going off one of her rants, like he doesn't interrupt her really. Like he's just stands there and like listens to her. And I find that attractive. I find that endearing that like, you're validating her even when she's being like super crazy. So
I really hope now, like next week, he actually doesn't hook up with Jess, and it's like he just said hi to her or something, and then she's just losing it over like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's very possible. That's a good point. I didn't think of that. Yeah. How about her friends also just doubling down on the fact that she looks like Megan Fox?
Enough is enough, people.
I mean, her friends also said two other people's names. I don't even remember who it was. So like
Carrie Underwood was the other one they said.
Carrie Underwood? Yeah. Unbelievable.
These are really.
They're friends with her. They know they have to, feed her.
They're gassing their friend up, man.
Right? No, and like, and there's a place for that, like for sure. Like, I'm not gonna ever let my friend walk away from a conversation with me not feeling great about themselves. But like, we have to be realistic, and we also have to know that you're on TV. Like, Chelsea is by no means unattractive. Like, I think she's a gorgeous girl, but these comparisons that we're drawing, like, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Like, stop.
That shows like insecurity when you're even trying to tell someone in the pods, like, I look like this celebrity. Like, you're trying to use that as a way to prove value. And like I said, I think Chelsea's great, and I don't think she has to prove her value that way. And I do think, and I do hope, I mean, there's got to be a reunion. I really do hope that she can recognize that, because, look, if Jimmy goes ahead next week and bangs another chick while they're still together, then like, yeah, he's a dick, right? And like, this whole thing kind of, she'll end up being net correct. But as of right now, I'm not agreeing with her stance on a lot of this stuff.
I need that. I need Jess to show up, because she already confirmed she thinks he's attractive and likes his voice and all that stuff. So
she's going for it.
I don't get it. I don't understand it.
She really needs a stepdad. Okay.
I don't think that he's a good looking dude at all. I don't understand how. I don't get it, but love is blind.
Love is something.
She likes his voice too.
Yeah, he's like, people have told me I have a radio voice. I'm like, oh, enough.
That's usually a bad thing when you have a radio voice.
Yeah, it means you're ugly.
It means you're ugly when you have a radio voice.
You have the perfect face for radio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. All right. So, in sad news, but like, it's weird because I don't really feel sad about it, is Kenny and Brittany, right? We thought that this was a type of tease, a misdirection, if you were, right? She was saying your body language and everything has changed since we came back from the island. Well, it turns out when you show the rest of that scene, it's because he's working. The man's answering emails. He's a principal who's been away for like 3 weeks. He probably has a lot to catch up on. A lot of kids probably did all the shitty things. Like, some teachers probably quit. Like, this, things happen. The cafeteria was like gets set on fire, and he's just like, and he was very clear. He's like, hey, look, I'm going to answer some emails. Like, I'll get you. And she's just like, every moment you're not into me, and I just don't feel that craving and the whole thing. And it's like, hey, and he said it. He's just so smart. He's like, hey, maybe you just don't like me. Like, you think I'm a great guy, but you're not in love with me. You don't have a physical craving for me. You're trying to say all these things that I'm doing to you, but I'm going to break all of them down and show you how it's illogical. So you can just say it's okay and that you're not feeling it. And she's like, I'm not feeling it. So they're done. Like, that. He went to his buddy's house. They dapped up on the way out. Like, all good. See you at church on Sunday.
Was she not feeling it? Like, the whole thing confused me. I really thought we were going to get to see the family come into play, and maybe that be the thing that breaks them up, because he seemed to be very concerned about it. And like, because she's a white girl, he thought that was going to be an issue. So I don't know. But yeah, he wasn't being affectionate with her, but he's also like, he's a lordly, godly man. So that's not like in his DNA really to be touchy, lovey, goosey, I guess. So I don't know.
I thought I don't think he really did anything wrong. And I don't think she really did anything wrong. I think she did it in a lot better way than Chelsea expressed her feelings. So I don't know. Kyle, what do you think? Yes. Let's go. Come on.
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts on them. I was really high on them. I thought that the way that Brittany communicated with him was extremely healthy. Everything that she did, every behavior that was like really enacted between the two of them, she's like, "Well, how does this make you feel? Do you like when I do this? Here's what I like." And like the questions that she was asking was provoking really, really good conversation that we don't often see in relationships. And it really should be there. I need to fully understand what your love language is before we get to a point with Jimmy and Chelsea where we're fighting about it.
Yeah.
Like, let me know. Let me know what you respond to positively and negatively. I thought that was fantastic. I, and I do agree that he was very, very clear with that moment when she was trying to set up the bedroom and asking, like, where do you want this? Where do you want that? I actually did kind of back him in that moment that, like, you don't need to be responding to this. You said once, two, three times that like you're trying to catch up on work and everything like this. And this is why I'm in my phone. But then when they were trying to have that conversation at the kitchen island regarding how she was feeling, we're talking about the cravings that she feels like is lacking. And immediately, like the girl was crying and he's back in his phone right away. I feel like this show is being edited in a way to kind of present this discourse to kind of go back and forth, because that paints a different picture to me. Like it is still, if you're saying that you actually care about this girl, you're being very disrespectful in the sense that she is crying and you're in your phone. There, whatever email is there, it was an email for a reason. It means I can get to it a little bit later. This was not an actual phone call. They emailed because it was not necessarily urgent. If someone is crying in front of me, even somebody I don't really like, I wouldn't do that. Like, imagine, like, you're stuck at the bar with this idiot that's talking to you at like 1 a.m. and like they had way too much to drink and they're like bawling their eyes out.
Yeah.
Like, I still would leave my phone flipped over because like I want to give you the respect that I feel like you deserve because you're having an emotional moment. I'm also trying to say that I love you. I want to marry you in 17 days and I can't stay away from my phone while you're crying about me. That's so disrespectful. And that paints a different picture of the other conversations that we had. So like maybe that affected the reason why she didn't feel this craving for him.
Yeah. Like he turned her off basically, which I think he kind of said, but it's like you said too. I think when they were still on the honeymoon, like we talked about, obviously them being a biracial couple, and that he talked to AD last week, but this episode 7, really did start with him expressing, which is obviously natural concerns of how his family was going to feel, and some of his friends and female friends, and I think he felt like, and I'm not obviously the one to really speak on this the most, but I felt like he felt that she was going to have to do a lot of proving, and that it was going to have to be a lot of them reassuring their friends and family that this was the right relationship for both of them. And I do think he had that in his head in certain ways. I mean, again, I can't speak for him, but I do think they present things usually if they are relevant. And so I do think whether he vocalized that, maybe we hear that at a reunion or in the next few weeks when we see them, maybe like at a mixer. I'm curious to see how much of that weighed into his feelings, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, also, yeah, it couldn't have just been the phone thing, because when they were in Paradise too, they were on like the boat and he was zoned out, not talking to her until he saw dolphins. So like
I did write that down.
There was issues from like the beginning, even back in Paradise.
He was being rude on the honeymoon, I thought, a little bit.
Well, I think it also is depending on what your definition of rude is. I also live in a world where, like, I think it's very, very nice for two people. You don't always have to be engaged in an activity. You don't always have to be in active conversation to just enjoy the fact that we are occupying the same space together. So, like that time on the boat, that the show is presenting this as an awkward moment with their silly music underscoring and everything. But
the
like,
music's
yeah, but to me, it's like we're in paradise. Can we soak this up for just a hot second before we start going back to what our life will be? I already know the challenges that we're going to face in a couple of days. This moment is really nice and it's really serene. Like, why can't we just enjoy what it is?
Maybe he felt staring at her in her bikini, because God wouldn't want that.
Is that what he was thinking?
Like,
He's worried
that's
about
what I
God
was
that
thinking.
moment. I think he was
I
just
was thinking.
how dare you bring the conversation down? I thought we were having an elevated conversation about
Hal,
like layers and
you
relationships and like
pig.
yeah, you actually just dragged us like right back down. Like,
And we're back to bean dipping.
I do agree with Kyle that I think they did portray the edit, like especially a lot with them. They focused on a lot of moments like more than they have in the past with like
right,
nothing,
and like that
no
wasn't
sound.
necessary. We can just
Yeah.
enjoy each other. Like we're having a moment. Like what do we have to talk about? We're on a boat. We're looking at the beautiful sights. Look at the sights. Be quiet. Look, I don't know. I actually wouldn't want you speaking to me in those moments. I'm soaking it in.
Yeah, the
If
amount
I'm
of
with
talking. The amount of
Yeah.
talking we do on this show. I mean, God, I love being in silence.
Yeah.
80 80 and Clay, guys. 80 and Clay, I thought, compared to what I was thinking last week, had a decent week, but huge but, honestly. I still am not a Clay guy. I'm still not a Clay guy, and I'm sorry, but like I appreciate that he was vulnerable about his family history. He had talked about his mom and his situation with his father and the cheating and the leaving, and his father used to bring him around while he was running around on his mom, and he kind of found that to be like the normalizing thing. I don't want to, I keep it to yourself, man, but you should not be telling your partner that like the thing you're mainly worried about is like, hey, can I be in a committed relationship? If you're engaged, if you don't go on a show like this, dude.
Well, he's the dude that didn't watch the show. Like he's breaking the rule.
No crap. He didn't watch the show. You can't tell your fiance that like you're not sure if you can stay faithful. That's something you make sure you know before you. Oh my God, I don't care if you haven't seen the person yet.
Yeah,
just like
that was definitely wild.
Really bad.
I like Clay a lot, actually. I think he's awesome. But I do
You're
agree.
such a crazy bastard.
I do agree with what you just said about that statement. Like the fact that he keeps talking about cheating, almost like he's
gonna cheat.
Hey, I gave you a heads up. Like this might happen.
I said exactly because he's gonna do it.
What are you talking about? And you think that exonerates him? Well, I told you
no,
I'm just cheat, so you can't say anything. You can't
like,
come
it's
to me
like
because I
he's
said
just
I
trying
might. Like, what are you talking about?
He's just trying to get like some sort of pre-validation so that like maybe in his mind he thinks it's like, hey, look, you can't blame me because I talked about it before.
That is what he's doing. But you're
100% he's
co-signing on it. No, stop. You're almost co-signing on it because you're saying he prefaced it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, bro. It's gonna be like, yo, baby girl, look, like things got a little twisted last night, but I told you, I got my demons.
Exactly. I told you this dick crazy. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, what? That's not it. Like, that's not it.
So why do you like him though?
Who?
I just
Kyle.
I think he seems like. I mean, he seems like. I think he's entertaining to listen to, and he seems like a nice guy. And I think he's like he's the kind of guy that like gives girls like Chelsea exactly what they want, like where he's very affectionate and says all the right things. He's a smooth operator, and I find that interesting to watch. And I wish I could be more like that without the cheating side. But
and you like his presence. You think he's a cool dude.
Yeah, and I think he's got his shit together. Like he
does have a nice house.
He has a nice house, like has a mortgage. He owns like a second business where he does like jet ski rentals, which is pretty cool. And he has a really cool name. His name is Clayton Gravesand. So his name is it's like two earthly.
Sounds like a wrestler name, doesn't it? Gravesand.
Like Clayton the Rock Gravesand. Very mineral.
Brian, you love that. So why do you like?
I mean, I was curious.
And it looks like he takes shoes off in his house.
Where's this one going next week, guys? Are they making it?
I don't think anybody's making it. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Oh, except the one Amy and Johnny.
Yeah, that's why we're doing them last because they're boring. Except she said something outrageous. There was a little outrageous conversation there too. We'll get to them in a second. Eddie, I don't think they're going to make it either. I just think eventually AD is just going to get over the comments. I think eventually she's just going to be over it.
I thought it was funny with his mom though. Said like, hey, I had a good marriage. It lasted 25 years, but not really because were getting cheated on the whole time. So I mean, I felt bad for her. I felt bad for the mom because you think she's there to show her daughter support and she's there to not like shit on marriage. But like, yeah, like she definitely had a rough go of it, right? Like that's someone definitely kind of like holding the flag and being like, I'm not going to be this like victim
person. Like she was being cheated on her whole marriage, and then the guy leaves, and she didn't shit talk him. Like I thought that was like she was being. I always appreciate that with parents who are willing to like put their child's thing like above like their experiences. So like even like I doubt that she really thinks like that was a great marriage, right? Like how I don't know, but yeah,
Who is this now? Clay's mom with the conversation with AD?
yeah, when she was saying that she thought marriage was really important, that even though she had her marriage didn't work out, that it's still really important. And I was like, I appreciated the fact that like I know she doesn't believe that, like, but she was there trying to like support her daughter because no one gets like cheated on their whole like marriage, and then the guy leaves, and you're gonna be like, marriage is really important. You know, it's like your of course you're gonna be jaded by that, like.
I don't really love these conversations where they have like one parent, one side of the like somebody's parent, and they like press the questions. Like it kind of happened with Jeramey and Laura too. Like I don't love like they seem really super awkward to me.
No, they're horrible. And you keep this is not really in support of her daughter. This is in support of Clay.
He meant Clay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I
and
meant. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's like, but like this conversation never should have happened in front of his mother.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And AD was absolutely like slammed with this, totally blindsided. Like this is not like she did not know this was coming. You know, she came her little flowers, like we want to make a nice impression.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like you're slamming her with all these questions, and you know, Clay is a dirtbag. Sorry, at least
he got mad, dude.
Yeah, and like you keep mentioning how like, oh my, you know, my father is very suave. Like, what does that mean? I can't wait to meet this man. Like, I'm imagining he's gonna show up in a top hat and like a purple suit with like a cane or something. Like, I don't know what to expect from this man.
I'm thinking he's like if you watched Friday Night Lights, like Michael B. Jordan's dad.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's a good comparison.
that's exactly who I think it is. Like he's gonna roll in, and he's like a kind of a scumbag, but he's cool, and he's got the hat, like
Right,
you said.
like,
play with gray hair and a pimp cane.
People pleaser, I think.
Yeah, I don't like it.
But yeah, Kyle, I like what you said there. Like, I don't love they do this on a lot of the shows, especially on Netflix. I feel like they
always do.
They have these conversations, and they have these really deep conversations between the two in the couple, and the parents should not be there. I don't think it's like the one person now has no allies.
Right,
it's bullshit.
Right.
Not a fair
you're being
fight.
attacked. Right. The best thing that AD had for her is that at least it was other women.
Yeah.
That like, and you can tell that Clay's mom was trying to appeal to that end of things.
Yeah.
But like it was still slanted in his favor. Like it was not, and how could it not be? This girl is brand new to me. I already know you only know my child for like a week and a half. So like I can't really ride for you here.
But he's gonna cheat on you like his daddy. And I'm sorry.
He's probably gonna do that. You're gonna have to just figure out how to navigate around it. Like this is like awful. Like
when y'all met like your wives' families for the first time, were you not the only person there other than your wife and her family?
But we weren't having conversations like
I wasn't engaged already either.
Yeah, you're like, hey, like tell me about
engaged, but
like
even,
we're not having these conversations that are like you could like literally break up after the dinner's over type of conversations.
Yeah, the first couple of months you meet, like if your girlfriend or like it depends on being like your wife's family, they don't know if you're gonna stick around. Like they have no idea, right?
It's so like until frankly,
you're living together, or so again, that's why as a parent though, the show you're skipping so many damn steps.
It's I don't think it's good for the couple. I don't think it's good for the parent either. Like
you make the parents look like assholes when they're most of the time just reacting like normal people.
I mean, breaking news: the premise of the show is ridiculous.
What was the guy? What was it like what was the brother in season 3? Right? He wanted to beat the dude's ass who said like he was like leaving her at the altar. What was it? What season was that?
Oh yeah.
Spanish dude.
That was Nancy. That was
Nancy.
and Bartiz.
Bartiz.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like it's hard on the families. Like the dad of Amy, like, and it's kind of similar to The Bachelor. If I have 2 girls. If this stuff happens to them, I'm going to be one of those parents where I'm like, this is dumb.
Sure you are.
All we need in this world is for one of Brian's kids to make the hometowns on Bachelor.
No.
Brian would be sitting there like pointing at his like million subscriber at that point. He's like, I've been watching.
Twin twist, bachelorettes.
Yeah, nah, pass. I don't need
you wish that evil.
I don't need any of these losers trying to talk to my kids.
The Bachelor season 72. All right, look, I got one more, right? We have to talk about the boring couple, but they had a little bit of a twist this week. Johnny and what is her name? Just slipped my mind right now.
Amy.
Johnny and Amy. They're cute. They're doing salsa lessons. They're moving in together.
Horses.
Yeah,
they're great. But no, that lady wants a baby like yesterday. And I think she's having a hard time telling him that. The idea that like she doesn't want to go on birth control. Look, women who are watching, I have a wife. I understand. I'm not just like, oh, just make a woman go and deal with it, take the hormones, whatever. The fact that she said, I asked my wife, I was like, is asking a woman to go on like the pill or some form of birth control equal to asking a man to go out and get a vasectomy? And her face went like white. She was like, oh my God, no. Like, I don't, but like, there's condoms and there are you can track your cycle. Like, don't these people know you don't get pregnant when you're not ovulating? Like, there's things you can do to check. Right? Brett didn't know that, but like,
that actually makes no sense because then they can't have kids ever.
Well,
so, like,
okay, well, you can reverse.
You can reverse it like Michael Scott.
I'm going to say something that might be a little PG-13, maybe a little NC-17 right here.
Okay? Ooh.
Wear a condom and pull out. Just be double sure. Be double sure. If you're so afraid about getting pregnant, as soon as you have a feeling inside of you, just get out of there.
If you feel that special feeling,
just get out of there. If you're,
we're starting it good today, boys.
I mean, look, you're being protective wearing a protection and a condom. If you even want to be more sure, just pull out.
Wearing a jacket for your privates,
right?
I would never
get really
drunk. Like Kyle's eyes, he was like,
or get really drunk, and then I mean, I gave a spoiler warning. I think it was gonna be NC-17.
Spoiler warning,
giving you some little bit of like it. You can do some workarounds by not getting a vasectomy or going on birth control. If just
doing all those options does make sense, but I think people like pull out game or whatever. Like, I would never try that. That seems risky.
That's if you're not wearing a condom. I'm saying, like, if you want to be extra sure,
you
wear the condom and still pull out, and then like you're
really proven method.
You have another, like, maybe it's not a good percentage, but you also still have a condom on, and like this is going to be a fun comment section if people actually comment.
Yeah, but people have got this far. Like, God bless you all, and we are not making any official stance on.
Yeah,
on life
if you're so afraid, like, you don't need to get a vasectomy or go on birth control. You can, or just don't have sex. I mean, if you,
which is what they're not doing.
Option 2,
which is they're not having any. Well, they were having sex for sure.
Amy,
I don't think they did.
They said they're not because
they said they did not have sex.
I just don't believe
why it's like, dude, do what Brian just said. Why are you just completely abstaining? Because he thinks that's like the only way to not get her pregnant, I guess, is birth control.
Strong.
I'm just worried about her urgency on it. Like, yeah, I think you should know before you get married, like, your plan relatively of when and how you'd like to have children, but not when you met the person a week prior. I think you need to give everyone a little bit of leeway to get to know each other a little bit before, like, she's like, we need to have know what our plan is before. And he's like, oh yeah, definitely. And I'm like, bro, you're not, like, nothing's going to change in 2 weeks. Like, so that one, I'm 99.9% sure they're going to make it, but like, don't underestimate that could get blown up.
I want to hear from this guy right here.
That's you, Brett.
No, it's me. It's Kyle on my screen.
What?
We're all in different places. Yeah, honestly, this is the one part of the conversation I have very little to contribute. I don't really know anything about pulling out. That's not really a thing in my world. Like, birth control, also not a roadblock to me. So like, I really don't know. I'm just listening. I'm taking in the information. I'm the pupil in this conversation. But no, honestly, I do see this as a little bit more relationship ending than I think some of us are giving credence towards. Yeah. Like,
no, definitely
if we don't get onto one accord here, and I think that even Johnny said that, he's like, this is something that really does need to be figured out before we get married. So I'm not so sure that these two are the shoo-in for a successful marriage. Like, we not get 2 I do's when we get to the end of this.
I've been looking, Kyle, you haven't been part of our coverage. Brian and I have been doing these now for a while. I've been yearning for what I refer to as the perfect season. And that's when nobody makes it. And last year we were so
I think it could be
goddamn close. And then
they some
shitty couple that shouldn't have got together got married anyway. Like,
I don't know why you guys think they wouldn't be together. The only thing I can see being an issue is her dad, because she said something like her dad has to approve, or she's done.
I think that's smokescreen. I think like we think it's going to be the dad, but the dad will be like, I really like this guy, and then it turns out to be
I think the baby
What are
thing
you
is a
guys saying
bigger
the
issue
problem?
than you're giving any credit to. I mean, like, if she's not willing to go on birth control and he doesn't want this vasectomy, he seems to be pretty dead set on, like, there's really no other option. Like, I'm not going to be pulling out. I'm not going to be doing all this condom stuff. So, like, you're going to have to figure it out. And it's like, if she's not going to compromise, that kind of is relationship ending.
Oh,
Did he really say no condoms? He said that?
He didn't say it, but I felt like that was one of those edit things, because like anytime she mentioned solutions that he could come to, it was like, man,
it is a
like,
good point, Bride.
his faces were like a little like it didn't seem to be as receptive to those other things.
Why would they
like
be talking about it so much if condoms were in play? Right?
Yes, and he had also said, well, any other person I ever loved, any other person I was ever with, each one of my exes were on birth control. I feel like there's a comma at that statement. We didn't get to hear the rest. I feel like the rest of that statement would have been, I just don't understand why you can't do the same. I feel like that's where that conversation would have gone.
Okay, if he did say, if that's what he can't, and he's refusing to wear a condom, then he's 100% wrong.
I think, trying to force her to go.
Well, I mean, we weren't talking about who's right or wrong. That's a different end of the conversation. Just whether or not are they going to make it, yay, nay. I say nay.
Yeah, but I mean, if he won't wear a condom, then he like that's dumb to me that he wouldn't do that.
Right, what were you gonna say?
Participate.
Well, I mean, there could be any sort of reasons why she doesn't want to be on birth control. I don't think it's his right to force her that on her as an ultimatum. I don't understand the condom thing. Just do that, bro, or continue to not have sex, I guess, until you want to have a baby. I don't know.
Maybe there's a latex allergy.
Maybe. I didn't get the vibe. I think you were making it sound like though she wants a baby now, and I
got that vibe.
See, I don't know. I was racking my brain too. I don't remember it being baby fever, but maybe I missed it.
Nothing said. Look, no. This is a totally my guess.
Okay,
she didn't say anything where like need this time, but I just keep in the vibe it like, and I'll go back and watch it again. I usually do, but I got the sense during those conversations that it seemed like everything he was saying was like to prolong having a child. And it just seemed like she didn't like hearing that. It's the vibe I got. And again, like I could be wrong. Other people maybe tell me if they picked up on that vibe or not. But and I was watching it with my wife. She thought it wasn't like a terrible take either. So, like I said, I don't think. First of all, they're probably just going to end up together. I really do think that. I do think they're going to realize that they just need to kind of compromise. He's probably going to go get a vasectomy.
Just wear a thick ass condom, man. Like they make
wear two.
No one buys them, but
get a female condom too. Then like it's just plastic bag time.
Wear two. I mean,
I think he's under the impression that all women are on birth
control. No, there isn't, Kyle. Not for feeling, but no.
I'm like, wait, what'd you say, Brett?
Oh, I just think he was under the impression all women are on birth control just because
that's not true. But not all of them are. I mean, it's just that
some can't. Some it like really messes with them. Like, really bad.
Yeah, and that's what will make him look like a jerk. If she can't do birth control because it doesn't make her feel good, she doesn't want to do it.
She should just
refuses to wear a condom. Then I'm sorry, dude. Then you are the jerk.
Maybe she did say that, and Netflix is just editing this thing to make it look like a crazy combo.
Right.
That I mean, if that's the case, he's the jerk. If he won't just strap up, I mean.
I cannot wait for this reunion. There's so many great questions to be able to be asked. Like I'm
a little worried about this comment section. I'm on this video. I'm not going to lie. That's probably what I'm more worried about than the reunion. What's going to happen on the reunion is the way I've been thinking the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's the comment section is going to be a circus in this video. So
these guys are big.
Can you believe they're trying to breed the women however they choose?
There's a lot of different opinions on this one, though. So, like,
yeah, we're okay. Look, this is okay. We got a broad spectrum on everything today. Yeah, so, like, I don't think anybody can really single us out for any kind of agenda here.
I just feel like every topic, whether it's Strat Chat or here, is like, all right, well, I dissent, and here's why. I dissent, and here's why.
I think you've like crazy of like opposed us too much. I think you've got a different lens, frankly, and that's the whole point of having multiple people. Is just like you can approach it from a different angle, and then things you've said, Brian said, Brett said, like have made me be like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. Like, and that's frankly why I think this show's so great. These people are all horrible. Like it's a stupid idea. Like you're never gonna really. There's the one couple from season 1 that I still think was like a pre-set up couple, the interracial couple, because they're still together. They're wonderful. Like they're like relationship goals. but they seemed like too good together right away, like on that show, right? But like everyone since has been like what you would expect to happen on a show like this. And frankly, like I said, I just need a perfect season. I need nobody to find love with who they chose. I need it. Like I need it. Guess what? And then eventually we need a season where we find a lot of good couples too. But like right now, none of these people should be together.
No, I feel a lot of potential for this being a season where no one makes it.
Yeah, I agree. The timeline is too quick is the problem.
That is that
It's
is
accelerated,
really,
man.
You're setting people up to be like in terrible situations.
Yes, you're setting people up to fail. Like
Mhm.
you can't succeed this quickly. I mean, like none of us settled down with our partners after 4 weeks.
No,
Like
Absolutely
you
not.
didn't get to see anything. I need to see how you mix with my friends. I need to see how we actually handle conflict and not just one fight where we're isolated in a completely different situation from what life actually is. Like there's so many reasons for these couples to not make it. Like
there's so many real life things that are going to happen to these people that like, unless you're really in a real relationship or marriage and you've gone through them, then you can say you can get it. But it's a lot of pressure to put on these people for sure.
right, it is.
Guys, I thought week 2 delivered. I think delivered great conversation for us. I want to thank everybody on. Everyone gave their awesome opinions, and whether we agreed with all of them or not, each other, I think this is the way to have conversations, people. Comment section. Note, none of us agreed basically on anything, and none of us got mad. So why don't all of you in the comment section towards each other try to find the word that was used tonight, some grace.
Yeah, just be nice.
Just be nice to each other. I don't care. Or at least like make an agreement with each other that you're going to say horrible things, but you're not going to take it personally. Just sit there and poor Brian's got to watch these comments.
Don't even say horrible things.
Say whatever you want and then just water off a duck's back.
Just be respectful.
Just be respectful.
Let that be that. Yeah, that's it.
Have your opinions. Let us know that you don't think that Chelsea looks like Megan Fox. It's okay. Like it's, you can tell us we're not horrible.
Let us know who we look like.
Yeah.
I would actually love those comments.
I don't know that I want the door open to that.
Let us know who you think would get dumped in the pods. But yeah, Kyle, before we go, bud, you again mentioned you are now a host of 2 shows. So let everybody out in the world know what's going on.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, lots. I mean, so Strat Chat is still carrying the torch on the Challenge 39.
Finale night.
Yes, this is finale night. We'll be recapping that tomorrow, Thursday at 8 p.m. So you can hang out live and tell us what you thought. And yeah, the Kyle Petty Show, we're just focusing on Long Island theater performers, totally out of this realm. But like that's what I really did before I started podcasting so much. I was in Long Island theater, so I just want to just talk to people, give people a chance to just talk about themselves and like kind of just reinforce the community around it. So that's what we're looking to do there.
It's really good. I watched your first interview. I don't know anything about what's going on at all, but it was good. And the woman seemed really nice. And like I said, I think it's really cool. You're going to have a really cool scene. I saw the comments. There are a lot of people excited for it, man. So
yeah, it feels good. I got a good response when I had announced it. So yeah, feels good.
So make sure you guys check out Strat Chat Pod, the Kyle Petty Show. Find them on socials, find them on YouTube, find them in the podcasts. But for myself, Brian, Brett, Kyle, everybody at the Reality Guys, thank you so much for watching. See ya.